Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to perafilozof City Skylines videos. In this video I'll be continuing to develop my city in which I plan to reach 1 million population on the hard mode. In the previous episodes I had expanded up here in my high density region to the left side of the highway that's in the middle. And the highway in the middle is inundated with traffic, but the weird thing that I showed you in the previous episodes is that this traffic is not so much import and export, it is mostly comprised of vehicles that are driving around with sims in them. And check this out, for example, the sports car. This guy resides here in this high density residential area, but he works at this shop over here. And there's a massive amount of sims that seem to reside in another part of the city while they work or just come for shopping or something like that over here. This guy works over here and he resides over here. And that is what is creating this huge amount of traffic here. For some apparent reason, they like to mingle and go from this area, work over there, live over here, or go shopping there, come back home here, or even if they are unemployed, they will show up here. But the even weirder thing is, let's see, why is this guy here? He resides in this building here, and he works down here. So what in the world is he doing here? The only way he could have gotten here is through this highway over here, through this interchange here, through this highway over here. So what the hell is he doing up there if he works here and lives here? It's like beyond my comprehension. I just couldn't get what the hell are they doing. So what I decided was to try and increase the amount of bus stops and bus lines and metro lines that I have in my city and try to see if that's gonna help the teams find a way to use the public transportation instead of going through the highways and even doing some crazy stuff like that, going through all the way there even though there's a connection in between these two. So what I was thinking is to actually connect with the bus stops this part of the city and this one, and also to expand the metro onto the old part of the city. So that's actually the first thing I'm gonna do. I'll place a metro stop here. Well, let's go with it over here, for example. Take it up here and connect it to this one. And the same thing for this part of the city. Need to find a place for them to enter the metro. I think over here would be fine. See, can we have a connection here? Yes, we can. Metro stop can be here. It's gonna be a bit noisy for the people living here. I could put it, let's say, on the edge over here and connect this one as well with the existing metro stations. And I need to finish this loop up here. It will be required for me to have another station here, but for now the loop is going to end between these two. Now that that's done, I need to expand the stations. Now the problem that I've seen a few times is that for some reason I can't seem to figure out how to pull the already existing stations to another one. I'm not sure what am I doing wrong. Oh, so you just cannot see it while you're drawing it, but you can actually take it. It just, you don't see a marker on the mouse pointer that you are actually taking the station, so you don't actually have to delete the line, you just have to pull it. And it will actually travel with your mouse even though you might not see it. And now I just need... Wait, what? Oh, I see. So I actually pulled the same one twice, and now it's over here instead of there. So maybe what I need to do is just add a new station here. But you see, that's the problem. I can't seem to figure out how to get them to connect to the previously existing ones. That appears to be my main problem. Don't know how to connect to a previously existing line. So if you guys know how to do this, please tell me. Oh, modify line. Alright, but oh, I see, this is just showing me metro line 2, and if I say modify line, I get to pick the color and delete it. Well, for simplicity's sake, I will just delete it and start a new line that's gonna go around the city. What's this? I still have this one, right? It's the new one I started. I wanted to connect it, but couldn't, so best to just delete it. And now let's have a new one starting from here. Alright, and that should be one big circle. Now, as for the buses, like I said, I want a line that's connecting these two areas. So I can try and just pull from this station up to, let's say, over here, and see how that's gonna work out. So it would go from there, but through where then? Oh, it would go through the highway. I think I'm finally understanding why those cars are coming in from the highway, when if I were to draw a bus line over here from the first part of the city, for some reason they would end up on the highway before they were going to go up. So it must be that I messed up the road connection somehow, if they're gonna go like this in order to get to the other parts of the city. There must be a connection that I've missed to connect the old part of the city to the new. Just not sure why that is so. It could be that it's shorter somehow. I'll have to see about that. So let's put a pin in this and take a look at this. So the guys that live here seem to take a shortcut through here, go through here, and then enter here, instead of going onto this highway, going around, coming out of here, and then passing over this and coming in through here. So this turns out to be a shorter path, which is a bit strange. So let's see here, entrance, entrance, entrance. Oh, I see. So I have 4 entrances but no exits onto this highway. That must be the reason why they've been doing this. I could have swore I had one of these turned as an exit onto the highway. Must have deleted it at some point and then redone it improperly. So yeah, one of these should be an exit, and this area is made so that it does not support heavy traffic. It bans heavy traffic, so there shouldn't be any problems with trucks trying to use this as a shorter path. They do have a path to enter through here and enter through here as well, while they exit here. So this should be a path for the vehicles to go through here and exit over there. And probably if I were to try and do a bus line now, is it gonna use the path I just made? No, it's still going to try and use the highway. This is rather interesting. So to use the highway to get out, come back from up there and go down here, and then on its way back it would go through that one and connect into this one. So I think I now understand why there are cars here on this road that come from down here and work over here. Although I'm not sure how would I even fix this unless I destroyed this connection. Alright, let's see what will happen. And which way would you take now? Now you would go through there. I see, you would still find a shorter path than to go through here. So yeah, they're choosing the shortest possible path, even though that might not look like it. And for my traffic it would be better if they were to go through here. But it seems they keep trying to use this one. I don't think this is something I can fight with, just have to try and manage it. Alright, so bus line through the highway it is. So this one would be coming off here and my entrances are here. Why is it going all the way around again? If it's coming through here, it should just enter here. Oh right, but they have to go back. So they would be going back. This is a bit hard to use. Yeah, they would be going like that to come back. Interesting pathing. Alright, let's say I do exactly that. And put a station here of this connection, and then I would probably need a few more stations. I don't really like this. It kind of looks terrible and not very well thought through, but for the moment I will leave it as such and see if this improves or makes it worse, the traffic of course. And then once I realize a little bit better how do they travel to my city with the buses and the metro stops, then I will keep changing this until I find it satisfying. Alright, time to unpause. I still do have some available water. As for the power, I am reaching close to my maximum potential. And the place that I have chosen to get a new solar power plant is here. There should be just enough space, and yes, there is. Now that this one comes online, I will have way more power, and I can once again shut down some of the advanced wind turbines. I shut them down because they are just useful until I go to another high production facility, and their upkeep is a little bit higher than the solar power plant, so it's better to use the solar power plant and not the advanced wind turbines. I think I can turn off one more. So I will have 603 megawatts necessary and production of 637. As I increase my zones further, then I will get some more. At the moment my imports are at 1600, no goods are imported, while the exports, I am even exporting some goods. So for now I do not need to add more industry, but I can freely add more residential, commercial and offices. In these areas I have chosen to have residential areas. My unemployment is at 3%, so without a doubt I can have some more residential areas. I will place them down like this. Because I want to have an additional area here with offices and commercial areas. In that case, so this is residential next to a road. That's actually not how it should be. There should be some industry there. So no, not the residential area, but rather some more industry. Which industry? Well, the area isn't really good for farming, but definitely good for forestry. So I'll make a new zone here, like this big. New district, I mean. And have this area here as a forestry industry. Now the problem is I'm placing industry so close to the residential areas, so I haven't really thought this through as good as I should have. I should actually have offices, commercial, then the industry that's over here. But that would leave too few of these areas filled with residential areas, and I already have a lot of industry up here. So these forestry areas produce a lot of noise. So instead of those, I will use the offices for this area, and the industry can be on the other side of the street. Alright, so if this area is going to be offices and this area is going to be forestry industry, the next one will have to be high density commercial area. As these areas get filled, I will have more and more demand for residential areas up here for the teams to move in and be able to work in those areas. This is a lot of zones and will take some time to fill up. I should use this time now to check out the traffic. Now I do have far fewer cars here in this area, in this road up here, no more lengthy traffic jams, but over here again the damn lane changing problem that ends up with the middle lane being filled with vehicles, and at the point where they try to lane change they block the other two lanes, and this lane is now filled with traffic almost to half of its length. And once again, these are people who reside in this part of the city and they are driving home by going through this part of the city, which is something that's getting on my nerves very heavily. I do have this bus depot here, and this one depot seems to be producing 87 buses. How much is this costing me? This costs me 2,500. If these are the buses, no, actually that's the metro, pardon me. The buses 1,000, but from the tickets I am earning almost 2,000 with the buses and metro combined. Now what I want is for more people to use the buses, so I will try to use the policy that says public transportation is going to become free, so I won't get an income, but this should increase the amount of people that use the public transportation and reduce the amount of people who are using their cars to go through these areas. Now, if I want more people to use them and put them around the city, oh, finally found the area that has the lack of water. It's this one over here. I had expanded one of my areas for agriculture into this area, hoping to get more buildings that are going to produce food instead of just process it, because I was trying to decrease the amount of imports for the industry that does agricultural goods. And you can see here that they want more workers and they are not importing because they're not operational. And yet again, I have so many of these food production buildings, food processing buildings, instead of buildings that are going to produce foods. These are these orchards and fields. And I'm very much annoyed by that fact, because they end up only importing and clogging the traffic. You can see these buildings that are colored in orange, means that they import while they at the same time export. The only buildings that do not do this are the fields, the farms, and the orchards, which I'm trying to get more of. I'm not sure why, even though an area is colored yellow and is obviously possible for farming, do I get food processing buildings that import and export. And they seem to be like 70 to 30 in percentages, which is pretty much annoying. What I'm going to do is get rid of the buildings in the agriculture industry that would be processing the imports and just leave the fields. There we go. So I've eliminated a good portion of the buildings that were not actually food production, but actually food processing. Well, up here, how's the traffic? Still a lot of cars up here. And there seems to be a need for more workers up here as well. So we'll need to add more residential areas. Now there is a way to fix the problem of more residential areas necessary down there in the old parts of the city, and that is switching some of the low density areas for high density. I kind of didn't plan on doing this until the last part of building up the city, but considering that the industry seems to have started requesting more workers, you can see here it seems that all of the extra commercial areas that I have built have been abandoned due to not enough workers. So I will need a few areas here to be built up as high density to provide the necessary workers. And once they go up, they should fill the need of this part of the city for more workers. The traffic is something that's gonna have to be tweaked on an ongoing basis. Now I have fixed the problem of them going through here, it seems, or at least there isn't a big jam anymore here in this ramp, but you can see there is a big jam here. So like I said, something that needs to be worked on continuously. I should probably check out how many people are using my public transportation. A lot more than before. I have now over 1,000 and I can't even see the number, maybe 800 per week using the buses and around 400 using the metros. So that is an increase than compared to before. Alright, definitely gonna need all these areas filled with additional residential areas. It's interesting that this part of the city is like free of traffic almost completely while there is so much traffic in here, but they for some reason seem to be using this part of the city like some faraway highway to move about this part for some reason. So they would go from here to here by going through all the way here. Not entirely sure what's up with that. I guess it somehow seems a shorter route than to use the highway on the edges of this city. Now I'll have to think about how I can fix that problem. And why do I still need more workers when I have already made so many high density areas in this part of the city? This is quite annoying. Alright, then I'll give you more high density areas. How about over here? Wow, look at this. So many requirements for new workers. What for? There has to be something that has happened with the workers. They must have emigrated to these areas up here. But even these areas require more workers, and yet I have unemployment at 3%. Quite interesting indeed. Well, I will just have to let more of these areas become high density and try to fill the need for workers by having more workers on a smaller amount of space. While that's going on, up here I hope that I finally have filled up all the need for workers. In case I have not, I can always expand down here with more offices and then more residential areas. There should be a connection here to connect the services more easily through these areas. Offices, well, I don't really have that high of a demand for industrial. So maybe a little bit here and a little bit here. And after that I'll go with, well, it seems that I should go with commercial zones and not office zones. So how about this? This area can be offices, and the opposite area can be more commercial areas. And then I will leave a spot empty for more offices here and add more residential areas. The coverage with parks should be fine because there's a big park here, and only later on we'll add more over here and here. Still fine with power. I can always turn on more advanced wind turbines. The transportation departments are still driving around the same amount of people. And I have 105 buses coming out of this one bus depot. I'm not even sure what's the maximum that it can draw, but I'm not even sure that the amount of buses that I do have is enough because of these huge bus lines and a large number of them. And also I'm not sure how good it is for so many buses to be coming out of the same bus depot, although I'm not sure just how many times do they come in and come out. I haven't really paid too much attention to that. Are the buses like always at their bus lines, or do they sometimes come back to the bus depot? Well, I guess that's something that we can easily check out. Nope, no buses are coming back. I mean, there's 100 buses, you would expect at least one to come back here if they do use this as something like a repair and refuel station. Nothing yet, nothing. So yeah, don't really have to care about where it is at because they just seem to spawn from it, and that's about it. They do not seem to come back to it. I should have, however, made new areas here, more districts. The residential district should have policies for recycling and pet ban to reduce the amount of garbage they are producing, while the offices and high-density commercial should have big business benefactor and the increase for the tax on offices by 2%. Down here, this could be also made as a new district, as long as I don't have issues with the forestry district, and I do seem to have issues with it. It's very annoying when you try to make districts so close to each other, sometimes they delete each other. Raise taxes, big business planning, and that should be okay. I am starting to get traffic pile-ups here in these turnarounds where they can go from one area to the other one. I will have to probably spend some time looking at this and see how can it be improved, because I do not like this, especially with the lane changing and stopping all the lanes from functioning. I think this mostly comes down to how the agents choose where to work, where to shop, and where to live. The traffic seems to mostly now be problematic because of the residential cars and the traffic that they produce. The trucks that used to be my main issue are not that big of an issue. I think the ratio is like 3 or 4 to 1 when it comes to cars versus trucks. So that's something that I will definitely have to look into as I expand this new area. So how's my employment rate? Unemployment is at 3%, and down here I still seem to have buildings that do not have enough workers. And no, I did not want you to build like that. I wanted fields who are not gonna be importing or exporting, just sending goods to my other production buildings for goods. I don't think this is really a good way of getting this, like bulldozing each time I see a production building instead of a raw growth of food building. There must be a better way to fix this up. I mean, I have reduced my imports down to just 800 by deleting all those agricultural buildings that were importing, so my import is as low as I could possibly make it. The exports are even reduced because I'm exporting way fewer agricultural products. Almost all of my exports are forestry. So like I said, the problem is no longer with the industry, but rather with the teams who are supposed to go to work and not use their cars all the time. Well, this video has probably gone long enough right about now, and I should probably give it a rest and finish the tweaking of traffic in one of the next videos. So thank you very much for watching, and I expect some interesting comments from you about how to fix some of these problems and how to better use the public transportation. So I will see you in the next video. Goodbye and thank you for watching.